So today I'm actually doing a very quick makeup tutorial. It's just a basic get ready with me. I'm just heading over for a little bit of shopping. It's Sunday afternoon and it's a very simple, you can probably do this within 15 minutes, face, and I'm pretty much kind of heavy on the eyes if you want to say for a regular day of shopping, but this is how much makeup I usually like to wear, to be completely honest. A little bit of bronzer, some nude lips, and that's it. So thanks again for watching and stay tuned. So I'm using the Stila Prime Pot in Caramel to coat both of my eyelids with eyeshadow primer to really make sure that the eyeshadow is going to last. Especially given the hot weather outside, we want to make sure that the lids are not going to be creasing. I'm grabbing from the Naked palette the Shadow Virgin and coating that with a large shader brush over my entire eyelids, and this is really going to brighten the eye. And I already have large eyelids, but I don't mind enlarging them a little more, obviously. So just taking that a little bit above the entire lid. So adding about 2 coats just to really make sure that the pigment stays onto the eyelid completely. I'm grabbing Gimme the Sun, which is an MSF by MAC, and really placing that in the crease area, which is pretty much going to add some dimension. This is a really reddish, bronzy kind of shade, and I absolutely love using this. So when in doubt, I always revert to this product to define my crease all the time. I'm using a pencil brush as well and grabbed Buck from the Naked palette and applying that in a V-shaped motion and using circular motions with the brush to pretty much define the outer V of my eye. And again, this is kind of going to make the eyes appear a little bit smaller, but because my eyes are downward shaping slightly, I don't mind also closing the end of the eye a little bit by adding a little bit of shade in that area. I'm taking a blending brush still and dipping that into Buck again to really make sure that all the colors are blended. So I'm only blending about 3 colors together. I'm grabbing MAC Kohl in Smoulder to tightline my eyes as well, just to darken the area before I line it with gel liner as well. I'm grabbing the Maybelline gel eyeliner, which is under the EyeStudio collection, and I'm using the small synthetic brush that it came with, so it comes with every gel eyeliner. And it's a great brush because it's really pointed and is able to define the line very well, and you can of course use this with any other gel eyeliner product. So I'm creating a small wing on my upper eyelid, and that's going to eventually connect, or it's actually going to look like the extension of my bottom eyelid. And I like to wing it out because it kind of lifts the end of my eye a little bit because they are slightly downturned. So I'm bringing that to the middle of the eyelid, and I'm just going to go over it a couple of times to make sure that it's really nice and black and dark, which is what I like with my skin tone. Just putting that at the bottom as well, and preparing it for the Kohl, which I'm going to put on top of it. And of course this will make the bottom lashes, the bottom lid, a little less prominent as well when you coat it with a little bit of dark shadow. I'm grabbing this palette from Maybelline to highlight the brow bone area. This is going to make the shadows on my eye pop out a little more and highlight the eyebrow as well, which is what I like. I've also grabbed CoverGirl's LashBlast in probably the black shade, and this is pretty much going to be coated on top of my eyelashes, only on the top lashes several times, so I like to make sure that they're really nice and dark. So I just go over on top and then on the bottom of the upper lashes only. You'll notice I don't like to apply it on the bottom because I find I have prominent bottom eyelids and I don't like to emphasize them. So you'll see that I'm only applying them to the top lashes. I'm just going to go over that a couple more times to really make sure I've grabbed the inner lashes as well. I'm also going to be grabbing with a pointed brush, Darkhorse from Naked Palette, to just go over the bottom lid, like I said, to diminish the size of the more prominent bottom lids. Using my magic brush by Cargo, I've taken Laura Mercier's Golden Beige in the oil-free Supreme foundation, which is my favorite foundation ever, silicone-free of course, and I'm placing that all over my face, and I'm actually putting about 1.5 pumps to cover my face, and I grab another half a pump to just go over any more problematic areas. So as you could see before, I did have a little bit of scarring left, which will probably take a couple of years from really severe Accutane, which of course you can't completely hide, but the foundation definitely helps a little bit. And that was the extra half pump that I'm just going over a little bit to really make sure that everything is covered and uniform across my face. Just going over my lips because they are tanned, and I'd like to make sure they're the same color as my skin, because they're quite pigmented. Grabbing the Lise Watier Camouflage palette in the darkest of the 3 brown shades, and just going over my under eye area because it is darker, as you can see. And this stuff works like magic. Like, I've had it for 2 years and it really, really works. It's a little drying, but you want to make sure that your face is moisturized as well as your eye area. And you don't want to swipe either, you want to blot the concealer. So I'm just grabbing the lightest of the shades and just connecting that from my nostril area to my eye to kind of lift up that area as well. And you're going to see it's really going to brighten up the area completely. It looks so much brighter than before. I'm grabbing the gel eyeliner EyeStudio, again by Maybelline, and this is their brown shade. They only have, I think, 4 or 5 shades. And I'm just using an eyebrow standard synthetic brush to kind of just fill in my eyebrows gently. Just a little bit. I don't want them to be too defined, but I think this is sufficient. Grabbing the Cargo Blu-ray bronzer as well, and this is just going to be placed under any setting powder because it's a little darker, and I like to set it with the Select Sheer by MAC, and you'll see that in a few seconds. So I'm just placing this above my temples, on my forehead, and a little bit above the cheekbones. So as I mentioned, using Select Sheer by MAC to lightly dust this over my face and really set the bronzing powder as well as the foundation, because I find it, you place the bronzing powder on top of everything, it's not well blended enough to my liking. You can see my cheekbones are much more defined than they were before. I'm using the MAC MSF as well in Soft and Gentle, and just placing that above my cheekbones to highlight it, and above my eyebrows to just highlight the area. Using MAC's lip liner here in Stripdown, just lining my lips, of course, and I'm not filling them. And I'm using the WetnWild Nude shade, and this is 900B, and then we're covering that with L'Oreal Fairest Nude. And this is the finished look.